Well, hello, my name is Nicholas Bell. It's my pleasure to speak with Viesturs Kairišs for his new film, January, which is Latvia's official submission in the category of Best International Film at the 95th Academy Awards. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
It's your second time having that distinction after The Chronicles of Melanie. It's also worth mentioning that you premiered in Tribeca, where it won Best International Feature. You won Best Film and Actor in Rome, and then you just won Best Director in Warsaw. So,
and also Best Director in Rome. We got actually 3 main prizes.
Right.
Rome.
I think I first want to start off because the film seems very, although it's a period piece set in a particular time in 1991, how timely it seems. So when did you go into production on this?
It was as usual, I think 3-4 years ago, and it was idea when we discussed with producer Boka-Grube and Ines Boka-Grube, and actually I was 19 in 1991. And I had really a lot of experience, and I was kind of young filmmaker, even not young filmmaker, but somebody who have interest in making films, and in same time it was those huge changes in Latvian history. We get rid from Soviet Union, from Russia, what was like dream for last 50 years. And it was crazy time, and with such an energy and tragic and in a way positive in same time, because it was so hopeful, and we really hoping for the best, and to get rid of Russia really was something for Latvians. And it was like, as you mentioned, the Chronicles of Melanie. Our history, especially our history with Russian occupation, always occupy my mind, and I did several films. I did 2 films about Second World War. This one was newest history, and I just was always this problem in Latvia. We felt always there, and I can't say that in last year February 24. The world changed for me when Russia goes to Ukraine. It was like in a way, we are living in all the time in this kind of suspense about what Putin will decide, what he will do, and so on. And it was of course we now. The film somehow fit really in the time because of the war, but it wasn't our goal. We just wanted to tell the story about youth, about filmmaking, about history, and youth also. It's used not only for the main protagonist; it's also used for the country. It's it's beginning for somebody. For somebody who will become probably a filmmaker, and beginning for some country. Also, it's about freshness and braveness, I could say, yeah.
Right. I mean, this and your 2 previous films, it's kind of a thematic trilogy of lives interrupted by conflicts significantly, which I kind of liked because I'm a fan of The Chronicles of Melanie as well. And I'm a fan of a film called Compartment Number 6, and you have the 2 screenwriters from that film, Andris and Livia Ulman. Tell me how they came on board to write something that's kind of semi-autobiographical.
Actually, I invite them before they won a prize in Cannes Festival for Apartment Number 6, but it was great thing because now they are working with my next project already, and it was nice. One script consultant from Berlin just suggest to invite them, young screenwriters from Estonia, or neighborhood, but still another country, and we Latvians and Estonians, we don't have a common language. We don't understand each other. It's all communication in English anyway. But of course they have, and they are coming from another generation, and it's events of the parents of them. And somehow it was really good and nice cooperation, and they really, because Estonians, they always they managed those barricades in 1991. Probably there wasn't so bloody events as in Vilnius or in Riga, but still we were on same page, and they knew those events from I don't know, from history, from school, from parents, for everybody, and it was nice cooperation, and we really we somehow it was good match, and both sides, and we are happy with the result, and somehow really we continue already working on our next project. Yeah.
Nice, that's very good. The casting, so Karlis, is it Karlis Avots won Best Actor?
Avots. Yeah, it's not...
yeah, sorry. He's kind of a newcomer. I know he's in 3 movies this year, but where did you discover him?
You see, I'm in the same time artistic director of the biggest theater in Baltic states, Dials Theater in Riga, and when I become artistic director just very shortly before COVID, and I was looking for new actors, somehow I could invite in the new, not just some new faces in the established troupe of Dials Theater, and I found him as a really good guy, and I invited him in the theater, but I didn't have intention to invite him to play in January, because I knew that he is playing main role in some another movie, and I didn't want to make another Latvian movie with same actor and so on. But he was really good, and I worked with him in theater, and I also watching how he's working with other directors, and parallelly I casting for January, and it was like 1 year, and I can't find the character, but I was strict view that it must be somebody else, and I even Karlis asked me, when you will invite me to the casting. I said, no way, it is never for you. And then suddenly I realized, wow, I just started to change my mind of the character, and I found it must be him, and then it was like a quick decision, and I'm very happy about it. Yeah, somehow Latvia is a small country. We know each other, and so, but still we are casting for the years. Even we know all actors by heart. Yeah,
but that's interesting, because he's quite good in it. Because the film kind of rests on his shoulders, and the look of the film, which is compared to something like The Chronicles of Melanie, which is this beautiful black and white. You worked with notable Polish cinematographer Wojciech Staron this time. And the material is kind of dark and depressing, but it seems like he had a lot of fun creating the look of the film. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, actually, I'm happy because I worked with my previous DOP of Chronicles of Melanie and City Next to River, and I was very satisfied with the work of DOP Gins Berziņš, but you see, you must develop in a way. I start to think, should I probably look from to change, actually just change in a way my way of working. And I was once in a jury in Kiev, actually in Ukraine, and we gave main prize for Wojciech Staron film documentary Brothers. He was director. And I was fan of the film. It was also mentioned in Locarno Festival, a really great film. And I wrote him an email just, you see, probably send me another films I heard about from jury. And we had something like this virtual, even not friendship, just some small conversation. But afterwards, I decided really I must go for somebody. And he was the first what came in my mind, because I researched his work, and he really combines deep intimacy with this big scale inscenation. He have really skilled and crafted in all both ways, and also we know the Polish film school, a Polish tradition is very, very strong, and they really have a great school, and yeah. And he was also, he's my age, and he had really also his personal memories about the time, because he was as a school, I don't know, young student. They were in Vilnius, capital of Lithuania, for excursion, and he started to make photos from Lenin monument, and the policemen catch him and take out the film. And he has something like this also, and of course we have similar history of, because also of Poland, you know, after breaking of Soviet Union, all Eastern Europe changed, and yeah, and I'm really happy. I'm really hoping also to continue our creative work together, because somehow I felt he have something that is important for me, because for me filmmaking is collaboration. It's really collaboration. It's not just I need good DOP, and so it's, you know, it's just to find the style, a way, just to good chemistry with cast, actors, and it's so tricky. It's like handmade work, and we are not this kind of Hollywood industry what you have, and somehow I really like to put the soul in the movies, and it's yeah, I'm really happy that we met, and also he was brave enough to use those many formats like Super 8,
Yeah.
or even this Super 8. You know, it's always nice. Super 8 is always a little melancholic and time, and it's always good. But to work with this VH8 and Betacam in the end part, it was really a challenge with analog video from those times, and
Right.
because there was combination between real documentary, because this time was really well documented, because there was first video cameras and people just walking in the streets and shooting, and it was dilemma how to work with this time and this event, because everybody knows it, because we every year on television have those real footages from this time, and it's and also Yuri Spodnieks and another cinematographers. They fixed the time, and it was very known. And also to build, to reconstruct this time, also it's very tricky, because it's very easy to be fake, to make a fake, because everybody knows almost. And then it was this decision just to combine documentary with real one, and somehow to try to mix together. And that's why we choose to use also those old Betacam cameras. We can't find them. Even one was from real Yuri Spodniek's camera, because you know, nobody using those cameras. You can't get them anymore, and it's.
I thought it was a nice homage to Yuri Spodnieks, who, as I understand, did film a lot of that there and died in 1992, actually. But that's interesting. So some of that was actually from Yuris's work.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Okay. There's some footages were, but because he is very famous for he really documented how the Soviet Union collapsed. It really was his mission, and then he did some huge films. But also this, what they are watching, this How Easy to Be Young. It was cult film of last years of Soviet Union, because he first time show the young generation who live in Soviet Union and don't see any real goal for them, just sense of living in this. And also there was first time he interviewed those soldiers from Afghanistan who is coming back, and really some not alive, some handicapped, and you know, and it was first time for Soviet Union they discovered, wow, it's not so nice world anymore around, because it was not permitted to be on official media, those guys from Afghanistan. He was really very strong influenced personality, and he was also, because he first this huge documentary but it was 5 series for the British television, and he was like first guy who was working in West, you know, and he came here and he was smoking Marlboro, and you know, real man.
Was January always the title? Because I really like the position of where the world is and being tied to the back, but looking forward to an uncertain future. I think that works really well. But was that always it?
Yes, it always, because you see, I'm also, it's a little bit semi-biographical, and I'm also born in January. And as you understand, January is first month of the year. It's really film about beginning. And it's like this innocent, fresh beginning of something.
Yeah. You shout out a lot of notable auteurs. I was wondering, was Tarkovsky also your favorite, as was Jazis?
You see, Tarkovsky was, because he was Russian, and that time I really remembered, because I was not very it's a huge difference in States, for example. You want to become or interesting in film, you are watching films. In Soviet Union there was no films, and suddenly in this period there's just like a lot of VHS tapes with bad quality, all the world classic. For us, it was like, wow, we discovered that there is another reality. And for us, for young people, it was just even more important about some nations fight for freedom, because we are fighting for our own freedom, and it was you know, very important at that time. But I heard in like in last class in the school, I heard about Tarkovsky, and it was his film, but it was screened in the movie theaters. Nostalgia, I remember. I watched it, and I never seen something before like this. I remember this feeling. I didn't understand anything, because it's so strange and so complicated, but the image was so strong. I remember I walked 1 hour in the street just somehow to understand what I saw, and it was really so strong. And also for me, this landscape of Tarkovsky, just this Derevnya, how he said it, like a village, this village landscape is very important also for me, and also we could see in January this personal approach that he see the landscape, just simple landscape, but for him it's full of meaning, full of sense. But of course, and he is not skilled enough to show the landscape in the way that somebody could understand also that there is something. And it was also for me very personal, because I remember all my school years, I just bringing some materials. For me, I was almost crying while watching, but no teachers, nobody. They say, "Come on, what is going on? Where is action? Where is something?" You know.
Yes.
It's but I could say in Soviet time, the influence of Tarkovsky was very, very strong. Of course, afterwards, when we started to discover, for example, Wim Wenders or Werner Herzog, Antonioni, just you know, it's but in this Soviet territory, he was #1 in that time, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely captures that feeling of awakening, which I really liked. Like you think back when you first watch these films from these people, and maybe you don't really understand what's happening, but I love that feeling in your film. And I was curious to see, you really came out of the stage world and theater. You directed lots of theatrical productions and opera. But is it safe to say that more recently you kind of are navigating into being a film director?
I think it's very interesting question. I try to answer all my life. I can't. I just can't. I all the time. I even have diploma. I have only one diploma in Latvia where it's written cinema and theater director, because I in the school I went to both classes somehow, and I don't know. I'm really working in films, and I feel it's I becoming stronger and stronger in this field. But I can't say that I become weaker in theater. I also, in a way, I'm this like slowly developing director, and so for me it's very necessary both sides. And even I understand that it's so radically different medias, but probably it's a question about the new today world. I don't see the problem, because I'm working also a bit differently in both. I don't feel that I'm working very theatrical in the films and so on. What is important for to be a theater director? I really, in a way, I have really experience and skills to work with actors, and I'm very often missing in films that they work with actors, they work with actors' inner world, about the motivations, and so I just feel this kind of composition and montage, you see, but not this just feeling actors with some world, and for that theater really helps, because if you can't work with actors in theater, there is nothing, you see, and that's why I'm somehow feel that I have some very important skills for film director also, yeah.
Right. I guess in closing, do you want to speak about the current film project you're working on at all, or is it still too early?
Yeah, no. We actually already got finance from Latvian side. It will be called Ulja. It's about basketball, world most famous basketball player in female, Uljana Semyonova. She was from Latvia, and in the 80s she was like best basketball player in the world. And she was very tall, and she very strange. And the same actor, Karlis Arnolds Avots, what was playing main character in Jazis, will play her.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
It's very strange and strong project about, and it will call Ulja about. And you see, in those time, because they are in Soviet Union, they are looking for tall girls because they wanted to beat Americans in basketball. It was in a way that suddenly you are some not usual person, but some powers are in a way using you as a weapon in Cold War. It's a very strange combination. And same time you are really human. You are human. You can't understand how to live with. And it is a very interesting and also very radical project. Somehow I feel I know how braveness enough to go more in some radical fields. Yeah, we'll see.
That sounds very interesting, and also very different even from your last couple of films. So I'm excited for that as well. But thank you for taking the time to speak with me. And again, congratulations on your film and its various awards. And I look forward to more.
Thank you very much, Jan.
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.